You need that polarity in order to expand that field. Welcome back, brothers. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing some ancient Egyptian religion, also known as Hermetic philosophy. The text I have in front of me is also known as the Kybalion. And I specifically wanted to focus on a particular chapter called gender, which is the 7th Hermetic principle. It is crucial to understand this principle if you want to achieve the benefits of things like the law of attraction, but we must also extrapolate that to the concept or the idea that the human body is a magnet. And if you are not cultivating some of the things like sexual energy, as is very popular on this channel, and semen retention, things of this nature, then you are out of charge. And you will no longer be able to access things on a mental or physical plane, as you have no charge. So let's begin by reading some of the points I've kind of picked out in this chapter. So gender pertains specifically to this idea of dualism. Okay, so gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. I speak a lot about this, and if you are well versed with other philosophies like Taoism, the yin yang, you will understand how physical reality, your consciousness can only arise because you have a known knowledge of opposites. Masculine, feminine, light, dark, left, right, water, fire. You get the idea. Okay. So the word gender is derived from the Latin root word meaning to beget, to procreate, to generate, okay? To create and produce. You might often be privy to this idea that sex is everything, or heard the phrase sex is everything, because sex is gender, okay? Masculine, feminine. What it's specifically speaking about here is that sex, in the more common concept, is associated with procreation, with producing children and things of this nature. But the Egyptians understood that this did not specifically pertain to biological life, and it actually has roots in manifestation, which is similarly confirmed by Western science. So let me read a little bit further here. So we've ascertained that the office of gender is solely that of creating, producing, generate. If I just pause on one word there, generating, if you think of the human body, you think about sex, you think about the sexual organs, the genitals are derived from that root generation, a procreation, a manifestation of energy that is building up in your lower carnal nature. Okay, so here's where we get into some of the science that confirms a little bit on the on terms of what we call, what is more commonly known as the law of attraction. Okay, so and we're speaking specifically about atoms here. So this is the latest word of science, is that the atom is comprised of a multitude of corpuscles, electrons, or ions. These are cells. I don't want you to get convoluted by the language I'm using here. Just think in terms of cells and atoms, okay? The formation of the atom is really due to the clustering of negative cells around a positive one. What does this mean? So if we take what we've learned in terms of the masculine and the feminine, the masculine occupies the positive pole and the negative occupies the feminine pole. The masculine is order and the feminine is associated with chaos. Anyone that has read any of Jordan Peter's works, the 12 Rules of Life, the Antidote for Chaos, he's talking about the feminine aspect of the world. Feminine is just matter, just unorganized matter. Okay, but there's nothing negative about that. I'm gonna get into that in just a moment. So The positive corpuscles, the positive cells, seeming to exert a certain influence upon the negative cells. Again, you have the masculine principle of order. The positive aspect of the cell creates the structure, creates the order. It is the rationality behind the cell. The feminine comprises the content of it, the body of it. But the masculine is the order. It's the head of the house. It's the father. Causing the latter to assume certain combination and thus create or generate the atom. Okay. Now we touched upon this idea that feminine has negative connotations because it's associated with this negative pole. This is a lie, and I'm breaching off our point here of law of attraction for just a moment. But to the women who are watching, this, when you begin to place your subjectivity on this point, you lose the principle. Saying it's negative has no deviation between it being a evil or bad feeling. Stop putting your subjectivity on it. It actually says in this book here that the scientist authorities are now using the word cathode in place of negative. So you have the positive pole and you have the cathode pole. Cathode is derived from the word, got it here actually, is derived from the Greek word meaning descent or the path of generation. If you think about it in terms of your biology, the masculine is the penis, is is very, what's the word? It inserts, it's very assertive, that's the word I'm looking for. And the womb is yielding, nurturing to the child. And that's what it means. It's the path of generation. That's where the child generates and accumulates biological mass. Okay. Just goes on a little bit here about the atoms again, that it actively seeks a union with the masculine cells. So again, the feminine needs the order in order to ascertain the structure of the cell. And again, we can use the analogy of the child here. The semen. If you think about what a sperm cell looks like, okay, you have the head of the sperm, you have the tail. That is the order. That is a human spine. The nucleus of it is the brain, and the tail is the spine. We had tails when we were young and sperm. That is the order, and then the female, the egg, that creates the content, the structure, the body, if you were, of the organism. The feminine particles vibrate rapidly under the influence of the masculine energy and circle rapidly around the latter. The result is the birth of a new atom. Okay. We're digressing a little bit into the minutiae details here, my friends, but I wanted to get onto the point of how this relates to the law of attraction, why you should have an understanding of this as the rationality behind why you're doing things like semen retention, cultivating sexual energy, fasting, meditating, abstaining from any carnal impulses inside of you. Okay, that's of the body, that's of the feminine. I just wanted to reference here what I meant by the human body being a magnet. Okay, so we must understand, just off what the preface of what I've outlined there, and the masculine being the order. The masculine is the positive pole, is the brain, is more associated with rationality, structure, order. The feminine is the body, is the intuitive. You will hear that phrase, go with your gut feeling. It's instinctual, it's primal, it's carnal. Okay, and here I have a little picture. I hope you can all see that. This is and details the magnetic field around the human body. Okay, so again, beginning from the father figure, from the top of the family, from the head, from the brain, the positive pole. Okay, you will understand that like a magnet, the stronger the magnet is dependent on the negative pole. Okay, the charge in the body, specifically the charge around the sexual organs. Okay, You need that polarity in order to expand that field. Okay? What does this mean? Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a diminished charge in your sexual organs, your primal nature, your carnal nature, your lower dantian, okay? If this is not sufficient in energy, specifically sexual energy, again, we must not get away from the reality that it is life force. This energy can create a human being, okay? If you have no negative charge, if you have no charge of the feminine, of the sexual nature, the primal nature, you have nothing to juxtapose it against your rationality. What you would like to see to come in fruition to your life. The stronger the polarity field between the positive and the negative, the positive of the mind and the negative of the body, the bigger and larger and stronger the magnetic field. I really hope I'm making sense, because this is crucial to understand if you're going to begin to do anything in terms of manifestation, if you're doing affirmations, mantras, things like that. That's all well and good. You have a surplus of energy going to the masculine part, the rationality, the thoughts, where you're starting to generate and cultivate that idea of your dream life, the wealth you want to bring into your life, the relationships you want to bring into your life, the job, the family, whatever the case may be. That's all fine. You've got that positive pole. You're sending out those vibrations. But if you don't have the polarity, the energy down in the body in order to magnify that field, then you're working with a broken magnet, my friends. I really hope this video was useful. I really hope this video was enlightening, and again, gives you that credence to be able to say, while you're beginning to cultivate practices like fasting, practices like meditation, practice from celibacy, abstinence from sex, and beginning to heal and repair those energies in the body. Okay, my friends, if you found anything valuable, if you would like, especially the men, I have a free testosterone optimization ebook, which shows you a little bit about how to, again, start to increase that sexual energy, that testosterone that should be blooming in young men, but many men suffer from ED and things of this nature, pornography addiction being one of them. You can find that link in the description below. Otherwise, if you subscribe to anything of what I said here, my friends, subscribe to me, and I will see you very soon.